Impressionism started as an insult. The daring attempt to portray spontaneous moments, everyday scenes, and fleeting glimpses of life with loose brushstrokes and vibrant colors was the complete opposite of what was trending in the late 1800s. It was an artistic rebellion, a bold challenge to centuries of tradition. At a time when paintings were meticulously detailed, carefully polished, and deeply rooted in realism or grand historical narratives, Claude Monet presented Impression, Sunrise. To audiences of the time, Monet's painting looked shockingly incomplete, almost careless. One critic even mocked the artwork, sarcastically titling his review, "The Exhibition of the Impressionists," suggesting these artists only captured superficial impressions instead of meaningful, carefully crafted scenes. Yet what began as ridicule soon became a badge of honor. Monet and his fellow artists proudly embraced the term, turning an insult into their identity. Far from being dismissed, Impressionism sparked an artistic revolution, forever changing the way we view art, and even reality itself. So today on Galeria, join us as we dive into the fascinating stories, hidden details, and lasting impact behind the 10 most famous Impressionist paintings ever created. Imagine being just 23 years old, painting under the summer sun, unknowingly laying the foundations for an entire art movement. Frédéric Bazille's The Pink Dress captures exactly that. A radiant afternoon bursting with sunlight and color. The striking gown immediately pulls your gaze, its vibrant pink glowing vividly against the lush greenery. Notice the trees behind her? They echo the precise realism Bazille admired, yet the gentle brush strokes scattering sunlight hinted towards something entirely new, what we now know as Impressionism. Bazille painted outdoors, capturing nature's fleeting moods directly on canvas. Tragically, his promising career ended abruptly on a battlefield at only 28, and he never witnessed Impressionism's rise to fame. But The Pink Dress endures as a beautiful, bittersweet reminder. It's not just a painting of a woman in a sunny garden. It's a snapshot of artistic history, blending old traditions with revolutionary ideas, forever preserving the spirit of a talent gone too soon. Picture yourself in bustling Paris during the 1870s. Busy streets, swirling crowds, and a city transforming at lightning speed. That's the sensation Claude Monet masterfully captured in Boulevard de Capucines. From an elevated viewpoint, Monet painted swift, flickering brush strokes that give life to the figures below, as if they're literally moving across the canvas. But look again. These pedestrians aren't clearly defined. They're fleeting impressions, just hints of a human presence. Inspired by Japanese prints, Monet chose unconventional angles and daring compositions, emphasizing spontaneity over static realism. When first displayed at the groundbreaking Impressionist exhibition, critics were baffled. They dismissed it as unfinished, even chaotic. But Monet wasn't interested in traditional clarity. He was capturing something much more elusive, the pulse of modern life itself. With this painting, Monet didn't just depict Paris. He transformed how we experience it, permanently shifting the art world into an exciting new direction. At first glance, Paul Cézanne's A Modern Olympia feels like stepping into a dream. Vivid colors, floating figures, and a surreal sense of space. Olympia herself sits boldly at the center, almost hovering above a richly colored pastel scene. Cézanne's loose, vibrant brush strokes create an atmosphere that is both intriguing and unsettling. But why did this painting spark such controversy? This artwork was actually Cézanne's provocative reinterpretation of Monet's infamous painting, Olympia, a piece so scandalous that audiences of the time tried to vandalize it. Critics dismissed Cézanne's reinterpretation as chaotic, even suggesting he was losing his mind. Yet beneath this apparent chaos is a profound statement on how we perceive art, beauty, and modernity itself. Cézanne pushed Impressionism boldly into new territory, challenging us to question our expectations and reactions. Madness or genius, one thing's for sure. A Modern Olympia wasn't just a painting. It was an artistic declaration, boldly redefining the rules of art. Mary Cassatt didn't just paint a portrait. She captured childhood itself, boredom and all. Here's a little girl sprawled restlessly across a blue armchair, almost swallowed up by the oversized furniture. Her expression, pure, relatable, boredom. Cassatt deliberately skipped the posed angelic images typical of her era and opted instead for genuine, everyday authenticity. But there's more going on here. Notice anything familiar about that cropped angle or the unusual perspective? Cassatt's good friend Edgar Degas certainly did, and recent infrared studies confirm he even helped refine the composition. Cassatt borrows from Japanese prints too, giving us a quirky angle that invites you right into this intimate snapshot of childhood mischief and truth. Painted when female artists were often dismissed, Cassatt pushed boundaries by exhibiting with the Impressionists, alongside Monet and Renoir. This painting wasn't just innovative in style, it challenged perceptions about what women could and should paint. Cassatt didn't just capture childhood, she changed the way we see it. Who's this stylish woman dressed in radiant blue and glancing our way? Meet La Parisienne, Renoir's fashionable mystery. Although modeled by the young actress Henriette Henriot, Renoir intentionally stripped away context. No door, no curtain, just timeless elegance. The background dissolves into loose brushstrokes, placing all our focus squarely on her playful, direct gaze. But when unveiled, audiences weren't charmed, they were scandalized. Her gaze felt too direct, her hat too daring, and a peek of her ankle boot was shockingly provocative for the time. How times have changed. Critics were baffled, calling it a failure, but Renoir knew exactly what he was doing, capturing the essence of Parisian modernity itself. Henriette wasn't simply modeling fashion, she embodied it. Today, La Parisienne fascinates because she's a contradiction, modestly dressed yet subtly provocative, vividly detailed yet mysterious. Renoir immortalized a fleeting glance, challenging what portraiture could be, turning a simple look into something unforgettable. Berthe Morisot captures a moment so intimate you almost feel like you're intruding, yet you can't look away. The cradle quietly reveals her sister Edma watching her newborn daughter sleep, a scene that's tender yet tinged with complexity. Notice the subtle details. Edma's thoughtful gaze, one hand supporting her head in contemplation, while the other gently grasps the cradle's veil. Morisot masterfully uses soft, flowing brushstrokes to layer veils of fabric, framing mother and child in a delicate private world. But beneath this peaceful scene lies an emotional depth rarely shown before Impressionism. Edma, like Berthe, once dreamed of becoming an artist, but gave it up for motherhood. A sacrifice hinted at in her distant gaze and restless hands. Initially dismissed by critics because Morisot was a woman depicting domestic life, today the cradle stands as a quiet revolution, courageously exploring personal truths. Morisot wasn't just painting a tender moment, she was capturing the universal tension between the lives we lead and the lives we leave behind. If you've ever walked through a rainy city, you'll instantly feel at home in Gustave Caillebotte's Paris Street Rainy Day. At first glance, this painting might trick your eyes. It feels more like a photograph than a canvas, with crisp lines and a perfectly captured rainy glow. Caillebotte wasn't interested in romanticizing Paris. He showed it exactly as it was, busy, modern, and a little bit alienating. Notice how the elegant couple in the foreground, impeccably dressed, seem totally detached, unaware of the viewer. Meanwhile, behind them, everyday people hurry along, each lost in their own world beneath umbrellas. What makes this painting truly groundbreaking, though, is Caillebotte's clever use of photographic techniques, unusual angles, cropped figures, and a striking sense of depth. He was practically running a social media account before it was cool. Even Émile Zola, who wasn't his biggest fan, admitted the painting brilliantly captured modern city life. Today, Paris Street Rainy Day reminds us how a single rainy moment can perfectly sum up the complexity of an entire city. Imagine stepping into a sunny Sunday afternoon, music playing, friends laughing, and the soft hum of carefree conversation filling the air. Welcome to Renoir's dance at Le Moulin de la Galette. At first, the scene feels chaotic, people dancing, chatting, and swaying. But look closer, and you'll see every brushstroke captures the pulse of Montmartre's famous open-air dance hall. Renoir was a master of painting joy. Instead of shadows and black, he used rich blues and vivid colors, making the scene feel warm and alive. Critics at the time called it blurry and messy, missing the point entirely. Renoir wasn't trying to create a precise picture, he was painting the feeling of being there. Nearly every face you see was a friend or acquaintance, making this not just a painting, but a snapshot of his world. Funny enough, critics thought the smiles were too ambiguous, wondering if the women were secretly unhappy dancing with their partners. But let's be honest, anyone who's ever been to an awkward dance knows those critics might have had a point. Stepping into Monet's water lily pond pink harmony feels like wandering into a dream. Monet wasn't just painting nature, he was obsessed with capturing its ever-changing beauty. Over 25 years, he painted his beloved Japanese bridge at Giverny in at least 12 different variations, each exploring a unique perspective, mood, or play of light. In this vibrant canvas, the iconic arch bridge gracefully crosses a serene pond scattered with delicate pink lilies. But look closely. Monet's swift, rhythmic brushstrokes dissolve distinct shapes into a shimmering blend of reflections and color. He's not showing you a garden, he's immersing you in the experience itself, where water merges seamlessly with sky and foliage. Critics once dismissed his work as unfinished, but Monet wasn't chasing realism. He was after the emotion of a moment, the subtle magic of nature constantly shifting around him. This painting invites us into that poetic vision, allowing us to feel the peace, warmth, and tranquility Monet cherished so deeply in his garden sanctuary. Here it is, the painting that started it all. Claude Monet's Impression Sunrise doesn't just depict a harbor at dawn, it completely redefines how we experience a moment. Unlike traditional landscapes that prize clarity and detail, Monet captures the gentle chaos of first light in fluid brushstrokes and hazy forms. At first glance, you see Le Havre harbor gently emerging from a mist, its boats blurred and indistinct. A glowing orange sun hangs softly, mirrored on waves painted with loose touches of blue and gray. Rather than detailing every mast or ripple, Monet leaves the scene intentionally open, inviting us to fill in the blanks, just like our memories of fleeting moments. Inspired by the spontaneity of photography and the subtle beauty of Japanese art, Monet dared to show the world that art wasn't just about portraying reality, it was about feeling it. The critics didn't get it back then, but history did. Today, Monet's vibrant impression is more than just a painting. It's the visual anthem of an artistic revolution. Impressionism wasn't just about capturing what we see, it transformed how we see. Even today, these paintings resonate deeply, not only for their beauty, but because they inspire us to pause, reflect, and rediscover the ordinary moments of life in extraordinary ways. But what about you? Which of these masterpieces spoke to you the most? Was it Monet's peaceful Lilies, Renoir's joyful dances, or perhaps the daring rebellion of Cézanne? Share your favorite painting in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to Galeria for more captivating explorations into the fascinating world of art. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and never stop noticing the stories hidden within every brushstroke.